Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 1973 Winter Baseball Classic Tournament. We continue third round, round of 3 eliminations. Gets a little tougher for the remaining 2 matchups. We'll take a look at the tournament bracket and show you why. We have had a couple best of 3s. They turned out to be 2 of 3s. Very competitive series. But the remaining 2, the next one will be Seattle, SeaTac at Mississippi. And the one we're playing today, Tucson and Rhode Island. Well, the low seed, the worst team needs to win 3 out of 4. Much more difficult than winning 2 out of 3. Tucson, Rhode Island. Game 1 in Rhode Island won that game. 6-1. Behind Paul Splittorff. He had a nice win. He's also a keeper of the Kansas City Royals. Good for him. He beat Terry Forster, who actually had a nice start for Tucson in defeat. So game 2, we go to Tucson. They get to contend. They get eliminated at home. Game 3 and 4 will be back in Rhode Island. So they need to win today just to keep this thing going for 2 more tries. It's Rhode Island at Tucson. Again, one of the logistically incomprehensible problems with our fun little fiction, our little spring training tournament. You don't want to be flying 3,000 miles for games, back and forth, and so forth and so on. So, yeah. Rhode Island at Tucson. And Rhode Island today will send Marty Patton out there. And your Tucson squad will send Jim Perry, who will continue his career with the Cleveland Indians with his brother Gaylord. Question of which card they pick up. Let's get started from the desert. Leading off for Rhode Island is Bert Campaneris, 311, pops third. Bill Sharp, 57, this guy's a center. Gary Thomason, 46, single 1 of 14, gets it. Nate Colbert, 311, this guy's a center field. Bottom of 1, it's Steve Hovely, 6'11", left X, your left fielder. 314 and a left, makes the grab. Jose Cardinal, the best player on Tucson's team. 66, homer 1 to 5, double. Gary Hopkins, 53, comebacker to the mound. And with 2 outs, Jim Wynn, who's having an off year. Not a good year for Jim. 6'10", third X. Rico Petrocelli, a 2E10 at third base. Makes the play. Top of 2. Yvonne Morrell, 2-6. It's a strikeout. Jerry Moses, 39. Flies to left. And here's Rico Petrocelli, 67. A base hit. Hal Lanier, 49. Homer 1 to 3. Fly ball. But he gets the homer 1 to 3. It's a shame it's not a homer, though. You love to nail those 1 to 3 fly balls as a hitter. But if you have power, you don't have power, it's just a single. So with 2 outs, it's Tim Johnson. And he lines the first, and that now adds up to nothing. All right, big break for Tucson. Could be down 2-zip. It's Paul Popovich, 33, rolls to second. Bill Russell, 34, lines to second. Frank Baker, 36, it's a walk. John Bacabella, 5'10", catcher's X. Jerry Moses, the opposite catcher, is a 4E1. Briskly moving to the third frame here. Bert Campaneris, 37. Bounces to short. Bill Sharp, 68, base hit. Gary Thomason had a nice game 1. 45, comes back in game 2, short X. Bill Russell's a 2E29. Nice card for Bill. Want to get a double play if you can. Get a fielder's choice. 2 outs. Nate Colbert, 57. Lines a third. These are low-charged offenses, folks. Skip Jutzy, 46 is a K. You're seeing some names you probably haven't seen in our carryover league before. Guys on the outskirts, on the fringes, left of center, that kind of thing. Steve Hovely, 35, flies to center. Jose Cardinal, 69, double 1, base hit. Gail Hopkins, 211, rolls to third. We go to the fourth. Yvonne Morrell, 2-4. We hit a home run. 2-4. He's got the 2-2 column with homers on 3 and 4 as well. My goodness, Yvonne Morrell. 9 homers and 210 at-bats. Trying to say, hey, I can pick up a role in your league. I can kind of catch the ball every once in a while. I could, get on the be a bench role player. Jerry Moses, 39, flies left. Rico Petrocelli, 310's a base hit. Hal Lanier, 2-6. Another base hit to left field. Petrocelli will hold it second. Tim Johnson, 55 off Perry, rolls a second. They're in scoring position now for Bert Campaneris. 53, right X. Need a defensive play here out of Jimmy Wynn. He's a 3-6 in right field. And he makes the grab. 1-0 game for Tucson. Jim Wynn, 66. Is homer 1-5, and he gets the homer. And quickly, the game is tied back up. Popovich, 37, is a base hit. Bill Russell, 210, fielder's choice. He's a base stealer. Let's steal a base. Let's attempt to at least, and that didn't work. He got caught stealing, as per norm, it seems, in my league. Frank Baker, 67, base hit. And Bacabella, 37, another base hit. 2 on, 2 outs. That caught stealing looks pretty bad right now. Skip Yutzy, 1-6, pops to second. Yeah, but at the same point, Tucson has an improbable path to advancing. They just got to take their chances. And again, it didn't work out, but we still got 5 innings left. You take your chances early so you know what you have to do by the end of the game, instead of waiting to the end for that improbable 2-point conversion or whatever. Bill Sharp, 1-5, base hit. Gary Thomason, 2-4, Sky's the center. Nate Colbert, 62, flies to left. Von Morel, 110, roll it or short. It's a 1-1 affair. Bottom of 5, Steve Hovley, 68. Single 1 of 17, he gets it. Jose Cardinal, we need something out of him. He's got to carry this team. 310, he walks. A 303 year for Jose. Gail Hopkins, 57, is a strikeout. Your number 3 hitter is hitting 246. That tells you something. Jim Wynn, 210. That's a 6-4-3 double play. And your cleanup hitter is hitting 220. But he's got 20 homers. Tucson is challenged offensively as we go to the 6th. Jerry Moses, 2-6, lines to second. Rico Petrocelli, 4-12, flies center. Hal Lanier, 1-2, fouls out to the catcher, and he hurts himself. In the process, Billy Parker takes over. It's not like Rhode Island has any great shakes offensively either, as you can tell. Even though they're a number 5 seed. Tucson's a 12 seed. Bottom of the 6th. It's frankly the great pitching of Rhode Island. Splittorf, John Curtis, Marty Patton, all nice cards, all of them. Plus Steve Mingori's a good closer. Bottom of 6, Paul Popovich, 69, is a walk. Bill Russell, 1-5 is a 6. 4-3, double play is the flavor of the day. Frank Baker, 32, pops out. We're in the 7th inning already, folks. It's taking me 5 minutes to get here, it seems. Tim Johnson, 3-6 is a base hit for the Sea Stealer. How about a Bert Campaneris hit and run? Shake this thing up a little bit. He advances the runner to second base. Bill Sharp, 64, pops to second base, and with 2 outs, Gary Thomason, 1-5 is a walk. Big moment here. Perry, about to hit the point of weakness, has to deal with a dangerous Nate Colbert. Devastating Padre slugging first baseman whose contract is up. Padres will probably pick up this card. That would look even better for the Padres if he comes through here. 3-6, he strikes out. He'll pick his card up, though. 22 homers and a 270 average. Stretch time here in Tucson. And our musical selection's a little bit out of the timeline. Well, it's a great LP, nonetheless. Green Mine by Dinosaur Jr., 1991. Jay Massis in the Desert and Gas Food and Lodging. Great film from this era. The Wagon, Flying Cloud, Green Mine, great LP. I think this is the era where Jay played all the instruments, or at least he played guitar and drums. Well, on the record, in the studio, something like that. Back to the game. Bottom of the 7th. 101. Marty Patton's a starter 7. He'll continue. John Bacabella, 3-6, rolls third. Skip Jutzy, 310. Hey, a single. for Skip. Good to see Skip get a single in our league. Back up top to Steve Hovley. 39, third B. If you're wondering why we're not seeing cards, we'll see 20 cards of the team that loses the series at the end of the video. And here's Jose Cardinal. Big moment for Jose. He's pretty much the only reasonable player on this team. 2-9, fielder's choice. 1-1 in the 8th. Perry in uncharted territories, the starter 6. Oh boy, folks. You know, here's the other thing. We need to just look at players. In game 1, I looked at Roger Nelson coming out of the Tucson bullpen. He gave up 3 runs. We are actually going to... We got a great start out of Perry. Let's leave him out of this. It's not his fault. They're not winning. We're going to go Brent Strom, see how he does out of the pen as a lefty. Brent Strom was a Cleveland Indian in 73 with a 4.61 ERA. The good news for Brent, he gets sent to San Diego, has a great year for them in 75, the Padres. Top of the 8th, Ivan Morel, the offense of Rhode Island to this point. 57 is a K. Jerry Moses. Let's see, Jerry. I got another Jerry catcher. I got Jerry Grody and Jerry Moses. How about that? We'll leave it alone. Jerry Moses. 1-6, pops short. Enrico Petrocelli. 5'11", left X. We got Hovley out there. There's a 2 left fielder. E9. He makes the grab. Well, I've seen enough out of Marty Patton too. He gave you 7 innings, give up a run. I need to extend his stay in spring training. We know we get out of let's take a look at this Danny Frisella. I think his contract is up. Frisella's always good normally getting lefties out as a righty reliever. But he's got a 4.20 ERA in 73. We'll take a look at this card. He's no longer with the Mets in 73. In 73, he's with Atlanta. So we'll see how this plays out in the 8th. He'll deal with Gale Hopkins. 5'11", pitcher X. Can you feel, Danny? Well, you're an E31, and that's strike 1 against. Yep, that's an error. That's why we play these games. We pick up little tidbits about these players to decide if we're going to pick up their cards for our summer league. Jim Wynn, 1-9 is a walk. Here comes Tucson. Popovich, you like the bunt here, but you're C bunter. Not a fan of that, so we'll swing away. He's batting 5th because he's one of the better hitters on the team, which is yikes. 49 for Popovich is a walk, and Frisella mucks this up immediately. What do you do here? Bases loaded, nobody out. Oh, bringing the infield up. It's all or nothing at this point. 6'10", short X, Campaneris. 2E25 at short. And you get a single off the 2 defense at short, and this pretty much will end this game. Base loaded, nobody out. Still up for Frank Baker. 47's a K. Bacabella still up, 6'10", short X again. And he's at E25. Ground ball B cut down at the plate this time. And with 2 outs, it's Skip Jutzy. 63, first X. 211, Nate Colbert. And he makes the play. Well, you know, your error actually cost you a run and possibly a loss, Danny Frisella. We go to the 9th. Boy, you really want... Yeah, just leave Brent Strom in there. It's Billy Parker, who's really bad. You know, it's just... He's not good. Billy Parker, 64, third X. Frank Baker at third is a... Oh, he's a 4E37. He's not very good either. That's a double. Oh, boy. When these two teams play together, it's a rare blend of sloth and weakness, folks. Number 9 hitter Tim Johnson. He will be lifted for a pinch hitter. That'll be Jerry Grody. That'll be it for Brent Strom as well. 8 innings and a batter. Dave Sells will come in out of the Tucson bullpen. He is their closer. He's a righty who gets righties out, we like to say. Doesn't give up homers. That's the good news. And he'll face Jerry Grody with a runner at second. Nobody out. There's the pitch. 66. Flies to right field. There's an out. Back up top to Bert Campaneris. 3-10 for Bert is a grounder to short. And with 2 outs, it comes down to Bill Sharp. From Sharp Minds come Sharp Products and Bill Sharp as well. 57, single on a 1. He lines out. And how about Dave Sells coming in putting out the fire, getting a save, evening the series a game apiece, and sending it back to Rhode Island. So Rhode Island could not capitalize. Danny Frizella will take the loss. It really just falls into a error of the pitcher. On a comebacker to the mound is pretty much the side of the game. Give Dave Sells a decent close. Nice. 3 up, 3 down. Brent Strome go up a hit and a K. He'll collect the victory. Jim Perry got a nice no decision. 9 hits and a run. Solo shot, a walk, a couple strikeouts. Rosella, the L. A hit, an unearned run, 2 walks, and a K. My goodness. 7 decent innings for Marty Patton. Gives up 8 hits and 1 run, solo homer. 3 walks, a couple strikeouts. 1019, 0108, 29110. 13, 53, 53, 13. Well, what we can say so far in the round of 3 is no team has laid down and died. They've all won at least a game or 2. And let's take a look at the stats here for both squads after splitting the first 2 games. Rhode Island should have better stats. We'll have to prove that, though. We'll take a look at Tucson's first. Tucson is 5-6. They're hitting .212 with a 4.78 ERA. They've scored 34 runs. They've given up 53 runs. They're very fortunate to be here, folks. They squeaked out a win there. Dave Sells has 3 saves and 2 losses. He's given up 9 runs in 6 2/3. That's not good at all. Jim Perry, 8 runs in 31 innings. That is good. We talked about Jose Cardinal. He's 15 for 40, carrying the club. Jim wins 10 for 41. That's not too bad. Let's take a look at Rhode Island, the number 5 seed. They're 7-5. They're hitting .277 with a 2.39 ERA. They should be done and moving on and eating cheeseburgers in the clubhouse by this point. It's just not happening. Mangori has 3 saves. Maybe they should have brought him in the 8th, but they brought in Frizella. It cost them. Offensively, we got 4 home runs by Ivan Morel. Sleeper alert. Corner outfield in a platoon for somebody. Somebody should pick him up. Give him a call. He'll play. 13 for 46 with 4 dingers in 12 games. We got 16 hits for Gary Thomason, a 285 hitting outfielder who had plenty of promise for the Giants and Dodgers and never quite worked out. That's probably his best year. Nate Colbert's doing fine, 15 for 45. Splittorf's 3-1, looking really good with his 1973 card. So with that, we'll resume the series for games 3 and maybe 4 if necessary. Tucson, having to fly to Rhode Island, will send Joe Decker out there, who was in the Minnesota Twin farm system. They had a lot of good Brady starters in this era. Ray Corbin was another one. Dave Goltz, another one. Jim Hughes, another one. It'll be John Curtis following Marty Patton. And then we'll go back to Splittorf on short rest since he pitched so good in game 1. Joe Decker, John Curtis. And then Paul Splittorf versus Ron Reed for Tucson. So we'll have that coming up. And the elimination of one of these teams. We'll look at 20 players for one of the squads. So stay tuned. Well, folks, let's see who got eliminated from the tourney. Yeah, it was Tucson. It was the 3rd game. Joe Decker pitched pretty well for them out of the Minnesota farm system, but John Curtis threw a 1-hitter through 8 innings. Good news for Cardinal fans that he's going to probably be replacing Bob Gibson at the top of that rotation. He's pitching pretty well. But anyway, Tucson, let's take a look at the 4 different categories Beginning with the carry-on guys we're not worried about. We have a Chico Cardenas card. It kills lefties in 74 we're going to use, so we're not going to use this. Bernie Stennett's got a better card in the future as well. Jim Wynn, this is a really bad year for him, you'll see. 220. Believe it or not, Jim Perry throws 200 innings in 73 and in 74. 74 is a little better, plus I think he's a starter 7, so we're not going with that. And Brent Strom has a great first year in San Diego, teaming up with Randy Jones, twin lefties in 75. Really nice performance, so we don't need this one with Cleveland. This is where the evaluation starts. We begin with the Expos. It's a somewhat curious keeper, John Bacabella. Reality is they have Gary Carter, but he's not ready to be a full-time catcher, and he doesn't have a minus arm yet. So Bacabella's a -1 catcher. He'll platoon with Gary Carter for the Expos. Just an ordinary keeper, and probably this just keeps him around one more year in the league. Jose Cardenal, great. He's probably in his prime, age 29 to 32, and all 4 years are good. This is one of the better ones. You can't really go wrong in this particular 4-year of the timeline for Cardenal. Hovley is property of Milwaukee now. Kansas City player. Nice on base defensive player. Lefties don't bother him that much. That's a decent card to get into the league with. Even though it's just 254, not much power, but you know, I like the on base, I like the defense, the arm, the base running, nothing really awful about it. Wish it had a higher batting average, and wish it had more home runs, but wishing and hoping, you know how that goes. So, Bill Russell, we're contemplating 2 different cards for him, 73 or 6. 76 he's a 2, 73 he's a 2, in between he's a 3. So he's 265 here. They have a choice. One logical choice is just go with 73 for the 1 year and then bump him up to 76 next year for a 3-year run. Terry Forster, we started him and he pitched very well. He's only 21 years old in 73, which seems really young. I guess I always pictured him older, but anyway, he's very young. As a starter, he would work okay. I'd rather him be in the bullpen if we're going to use this card, or go to a different year altogether. Ron Reed, just getting knocked around a little bit too much here. He's got better cards. Frankly, he'll be better as a reliever for Philadelphia. And Roger Nelson got knocked around in the 1 game we played with him. He's just not going to be able to recreate what he did in 72. That was a miraculous 170 innings he threw. But his stats look good in 55 innings. Cautionary tale on the low number of innings pitched. ERA doesn't always necessarily correlate. And the next group, we have guys who are put on waivers. Here is your case for Willie Mays, and it's going to come down to this. If the Giants want to make him a DH against lefties, or if the Mets want to, I'm okay with that. But otherwise, I don't really want to play Willie Mays anymore if he's going to be this bad. It's just, you know. Or I don't want to put him in a different part of history, like on the Arizona Diamondbacks or something weird like that. So I'll most likely not use this card is what I'm thinking. Which means this is the goodbye. This very well could be the final farewell for Willie Mays. He's had some dramatic moments in our carryover league. Had that memorable 9th inning walk-off 3-run homer in the league championship series versus Cincinnati 3 years ago. That's a fun video on YouTube. You look that up, NLCS Cincinnati San Francisco on the channel somewhere. Popovich, nice utility player. He is usually a 1-year contract guy. He pops up, literally, all over the place. He's played for a bunch of different teams because he always seems to catch on. Nobody really wants to keep the guy, but when everybody's looking for utility infielders at the same time, they find a switch hitter who can play all the positions, often has power on one side. And he's a B-hit and runner, C-stealer. I mean, this is a very useful utility player. That's why they call them utility players. He's very useful. Sonny Siebert's on waivers with the Cardinals at age 36. He's probably suited for the bullpen now. He gets righties out pretty well. Let's not sleep on how well Sonny is against righties if you stick him in the pen. So that might be how he closes out his career. We had some fun years with him with Boston in late 60s, early 70s. Our next group are undrafted free agents. Haven't been in the league on a lot of them. Frank Baker. This is the infielder. There's another Frank Baker who played outfield for Cleveland. This is the infielder who played for Baltimore and I think later New York. And not much, a lot of positions, not much stick at all. Gail Hopkins had some nice years with the White Sox, I think Kansas City. I think Cincinnati signed him as a DH one year. He still has some life as a potential DH. I don't like that though. That fly ball. That's just a killer. You think you're all confident you're going to get a home run and you end up with nothing. So what we're left with is a high on base percentage. It's 380. 380 is 380, folks. That can get you into the league. A lefty with power. But it's going to break your heart if you select him. Skip Jutzy has not been in our league yet. What makes it possible is at least the split on the right side is reasonable. I mean, it's going to have a reasonable on base. You know, all hits 7 to 10. You got to make that 8. I'm trying to make it look better than it is. It's got a 0 arm. That's all I can do. Joe Decker pitched very well in the game that Tucson's season ended on. And as a starter 6, he pitches 170 innings in 73. I think he pitches a little bit better in 74. So Decker has a couple nice years for the Twins, joining Jim Hughes, Ray Corbin, Dave Goltz, Why Levin, and the like. Bunch of righties. Dave Sells, the good thing about this card we can say, he doesn't give up homers. Let's cover this up for a second. If we call him a righty who gets righties out, he's decent. That's just way too many hits against lefties. This is where you got to look at how stats deceive you. He's got a 3.71 ERA, which is reasonable. But normally I don't let righties who give up this many hits to lefties get into the league. So I don't know if Dave Sells is going to make it. And that's the analysis of Tucson's players. Hope you're enjoying the 1973 Winter Baseball Classic Tournament, and we'll see you next time.